What do you think about the national infrastructure job? And what do you think should be done and what could be done in the context of that to stimulate growth and generate this economy, make this economic circumstances here in the United States much more effective?
Thank you. I think that, and it builds off the conversation we've already had here today, I think the first round of stimulus that we saw from the recovery package was about speed, was about putting people back to work in the immediate term, was helping local governments, was helping state governments through a tremendous fiscal challenges they were facing. When we talk about the infrastructure bank, though, particularly in this current context, we're really talking about something much different. We're talking about making longer-term type investments that aren't things that are going to be done in the short term necessarily. This isn't about pothole refillings and the repaintings and the things that we certainly need to do, but this is about connecting infrastructure investments to the next American economy. We're at a point now where we need to move away from this consumption-based economy that predated the recession, focused on the real estate markets, on financial shenanigans, to something that's really more about getting Americans back to work in a productive, manufacturing-based society, so making those infrastructure investments that are going to support that. So we have to get away from just infrastructure or transportation for its own sake and connecting it directly to things like exports, for example. If we believe that doubling exports in 5 years is the right kind of national goal that we need to have, great. What kind of infrastructure investments do we need to make then to achieve that goal? It's about ports, it's about trade corridors, it's about the things we're talking about here today. If we're going to move to more of a low-carbon-based economy, not just as an environmental imperative, but as a market imperative, what kind of infrastructure do we need to put in place? Where's it going to go? What's the federal role in that? Those are the kind of questions we need to ask. It's got to come through an economic lens rather than through an infrastructure lens, and I think we'll have a very, very different conversation. That's what an infrastructure bank really should be doing. Choosing projects, setting the framework, and making sure that those investments are made to advance the American economy, not just for infrastructure for its own sake.
Thank you very much. Mr. Herrmann.
Yes, the first stimulus bill, I think there was a little confusion. They said a significant part of it actually went to infrastructure, when out of the $787 billion originally obligated, less than $100 billion went to actually infrastructure. So a very small portion, less than 10%. Right. So it really didn't have that much of a chance at that point. The other thing, the infrastructure banks that you mentioned, the way they're proposed, they would actually act as a bank. They would look at a project, prioritize it, make sure there would be a return on investment so that an infrastructure bank could be self-sufficient. It could actually get repaid.
And what else do you think about it? How else? What kind of strong stimulus would it create?
It would provide not only a stimulus to start projects, but also make a judgment on which projects are the best, which projects have the basis of repaying to be successful. Yeah. So I think that's a very strong part of the infrastructure bank concept.
But actually put them into play then?
Yes.
Not just speculate them, but actually put them into operation.
Oh, definitely, because they would be truly acting as a bank. So they would have to make the judgments that these projects are critical for, hopefully, the region, the state, the local area, and then also make sure there's a stream of revenue to pay them back.
Thank you very much.